Good afternoon, readers. Today we're going to talk a little bit about plot. I'm also going to help you in case you are not sure what to do on your SWBS sheet that will be due for homework on Thursday. First of all, it's really important in understanding your story to understand the plot. Basically, the plot is what the story is about, what happens in the story. You always start out with a first, and then you rise to the middle, and then you fall to the end. Basically, the first part of it introduces you to the setting and the characters. As you climb your hill to the middle, you discover that in most fiction stories, that character or characters faces some sort of problem or dilemma. And as you sail down to the end, we realize that the character fixes the problem with the help of others, usually. That is the plot. And identifying the plot is just like riding a roller coaster. You start at the bottom, you climb, and then you roll down to the end. As we think about plot, it's a good time to think about problem and solution because those go hand in hand. When I say problem, I don't always mean something that's horrible or bad that's happened, but some sort of situation that the character must get out of or solve or resolve. It's not always a dangerous situation, but it could be something that brings the character discomfort or just annoys them a little bit. It could also be something that they need to do to change their family's life or change their state of happiness. Let's think now to the story that we read yesterday, and it's called The Little Painter of Sabana Grande. It's about a little boy named Fernando. And as you read, you realize that Fernando has one big problem that he's facing, and then there are little problems along the way. I'll illustrate some of those for you in just a moment. But it's the middle of the dry season in the town where Fernando lives, and they're out of school during the dry season. So he has a lot of free time, and he has really decided that he enjoys painting. His teacher at school has taught him how to mix paints together. So that's where we come to our first problem. When you're filling this out using your AR book, you'll use facts from your own book that you're enjoying at home. For our purposes, we will use the story that we read in class together on Monday. First of all, when you're trying to figure out what is happening in the story, you can always, in your brain or on paper, do a chart like this because it will help you break the main problem of the story down. The first one we're going to focus on is one of the first problems he encounters in the story. Somebody, and that somebody is Fernando, wanted, and in this case he wanted to make blue paint, but it was so hard to find the berries. So he searched deep in the jungle until finally he found the correct berries to make the blue paint. Next, this is more of the main idea of the story. Fernando wanted to start painting pictures with his paint, but, and the but is always the problem, so to speak, he couldn't find paper anywhere in the village. If you'll remember, he asked around, he looked everywhere in his home, no one had any paper. So he got an idea as the story develops, and he painted on his own house, and then he asked people in his village if he could paint on their houses. It turns out they became so popular that then people were requesting him to paint on their homes. This is an idea of how you fill that out. It really helps you break down the details in your story, helps you with problem and solution, and also with plot. Remember, when we read, everything is interconnected, and the better we understand the story, the more knowledge we get out of it, and the more we enjoy it. Tomorrow, your only assignment is to turn in your password for the video. You will have your Somebody Wanted But So sheet due on Thursday. So on for the password. The password is roller coaster. Don't forget to put your name on a tiny piece of paper, write down the word roller coaster, and put it in the glass jar on my desk that will be there in the morning. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great night.